If you're thinking about getting the Flashforge AD5X, hold on. I've got some surprising insights you need before clicking buy. This printer promises smart multicolor printing, ultra speed, and industrial-grade features for just $349, which sounds like a dream for anyone looking to step up their 3D printing game. But here's what surprised me. This machine, despite its flashy specs, comes with some hidden problems that could make your printing projects a nightmare instead of a breeze. Before you spend your hard-earned money, let's break down what the Flashforge AD5X really delivers, who it's for, and if it's worth your investment. Stick around, you'll thank me later. Now, if you're a small business owner, a hobbyist looking to level up to multicolor prints, or someone wanting a reliable machine for industrial use, you might think the AD5X is perfect. After all, it boasts a 4-color printing system with an intelligent filament setup that auto-loads and unloads filament, even has a 4 kg auto-refill capacity. Amazing, right? However, things aren't that straightforward. The promise of printing at speeds up to 600 ms, with a 300°C nozzle and Core XY structure, sounds like a sci-fi printer. But here's my first twist. The reality of using it often clashes with these impressive stats. More on that soon. Let me tell you a quick story. I was excited to try this printer for a multicolor project, some funky, customized phone holders for friends. I thought with a 4.3-inch touchscreen and the ability to manage printers remotely via FlashMaker app, I was set for effortless prints. But after the first few jobs, I hit a snag. Despite the one-click auto-leveling feature, my prints kept warping, and filament jams became way too frequent. And trust me, when your filament detector alerts go off every 5 minutes, it gets old fast. I felt like I was babysitting a diva that only wanted perfection, and who has time for that? So who exactly is this printer designed for? Flashforge markets the AD5X as a professional-grade printer ideal for commercial and industrial use. If you're running a printing farm or small manufacturing setup, managing hundreds of printers remotely sounds like a godsend. The multi-device management support, with real-time print monitoring, if you add a camera kit, and message alerts are valuable tools for that environment. But if you are a casual user or even a serious hobbyist who just wants to produce quick, reliable multicolor prints at home, this might not be the best fit. But hang tight, I've got solutions coming. Now, let's dive deeper into the printing speed claims. Flashforge says it reaches up to 600 ms/s travel speed and accelerations of 20 ms/2, mind-blowing numbers on paper. However, after testing, I quickly learned these speeds come with compromises. There's a catch. Printing at ultra-high speed often requires slowing down on certain complex parts to avoid print quality issues. So unless you're printing simple models, don't expect every job to be a speed demon. It's like promising a sports car that can zoom but often gets stuck in traffic. Funny enough, my AD5X sometimes sounded like it was auditioning for a space shuttle launch more than a steady printer. Speaking of nozzle temperature, the 300°C capacity allows you to print with tough materials like carbon fiber filament, flexible TPU, and PETG. That's a huge plus for advanced users expanding into niche materials. However, here's the kicker. Getting consistent results with these filaments takes a lot of tweaking, and the experience might not be beginner-friendly. In fact, many users report that temperature fluctuations and uneven heating plaques sometimes cause failed prints. Imagine cooking a gourmet meal but the oven randomly changes temperature. Not ideal. On the software and interface front, the 4.3-inch touchscreen is colorful and intuitive, which makes navigation better than older, clunky printers. Plus, the Orca Flashforge platform for printer management is advanced and supports hundreds of machines remotely. This is a great feature for businesses running multiple units but probably overkill for solo users. And yes, remote control is cool, just don't expect it to magically solve printing errors. It's like having a smart fridge that tells you when you're out of milk but can't fetch any for you. That brings us to print reliability and user experience. The AD5X boasts smart features like vibration compensation, resume printing after power loss, filament detection, and auto-leveling. All good stuff on paper, but in real-world use, these features sometimes don't perform consistently. For example, resume printing might fail if the bed isn't perfectly leveled or if filament runs out at a tricky moment. And vibration compensation works well in theory, but not all models seem to have perfected it, leading to occasional layer shifts or ghosting effects. It's a bit like having a self-driving car that still asks you to hold the wheel at sharp turns, helpful, but not foolproof. So yes, the AD5X has a lot of bells and whistles, but is it helping you avoid print failures? Not always. That's the main problem. I found myself constantly troubleshooting, adjusting, and replacing filament. This creates a bit of a vicious cycle, because the machine is marketed as an efficiency booster with features to reduce waste and improve success rates. Yet the reality is more in line with a try and try again scenario for complex prints. Now onto the physical design. The core XY structure gives the printer excellent stability and supports multicolor printing on an open frame. The build volume is generous enough for most mid-sized prints. However, the open frame design means noise levels are higher than enclosed printers. So if you're printing in a quiet home office or late at night, it might get annoying. To add more charm, the filament auto-refill system is quite clever, but often needs manual intervention since jams or loading errors happen more than Flashforge would admit. It's like having a robot assistant who sometimes forgets your coffee order. Not ideal, but you learn to roll with it. Let's talk value for money. At $349, the AD5X is competitively priced in the multicolor 3D printer market. Compared to more expensive options with similar specs, this seems like a bargain. But the question is, do you get what you pay for? If you're an industrial user with technical expertise to maintain and optimize the machine, it can deliver solid results. However, casual users getting started with multi-filament printing might find cheaper, easier-to-use alternatives that are less finicky and come with community-backed reliability. Think of it like buying a Swiss Army knife versus a dedicated screwdriver. The Swiss Army knife is versatile but might cause frustration if you just want to tighten a screw quickly. Before we move to the final verdict, here's a joke to lighten the mood. Why don't 3D printers ever get angry? Because they're always taking things layer by layer. Okay, I'll keep the rest coming. One final note on support. Flashforge has a decent customer service setup and active forums. However, several users report that it takes time to get responses or replacement parts, which can slow down printing projects significantly. If you think about it, owning a 3D printer is a bit like having a toddler. You love the creativity, but sometimes you get a meltdown when you least expect it. So patience is key. So, what's the bottom line? Should you buy the Flashforge AD5X? If you're specifically running a print farm or small business that needs multicolor, multi-material prints, and you have some technical chops, this printer offers a lot of features and potential cost savings. But if you're a hobbyist or someone new to 3D printing who expects plug-and-play and flawless print success every time, this might not be the best pick, unless you're ready to embrace a learning curve and occasional tinkering. Remember, multicolor printing itself is tricky, and the AD5X isn't a magic bullet. It shines more in skilled hands who can leverage the software controls and remote management tools well. The print quality is good once dialed in, though expect some initial frustration. If speed and material versatility matter most, it's worth a shot, but temper your expectations. I'll leave you with one last joke. Why did the filament break up with the 3D printer? Because it felt too spooled out. See what I did there? But seriously, if you're interested in giving the Flashforge AD5X a try, the best price is right on Amazon, and I'll drop the link in the description below so you can check current deals and read verified user feedback. Thanks for sticking with me through this honest review. Your creativity deserves the right tool, and I hope this helped you make a smart choice. Happy printing!